Captain Li Jiwan stood at the big window of her ship. The stars looked cold and far away. She had been looking at the same view for 3 hours now. Her hands were pressed against the glass, and her breath made small clouds on the surface. "Captain," said a voice behind her. She turned around. It was Lieutenant Park Min-ho. He looked tired and sad. His uniform was wrinkled, and his eyes were red. "What is it now?" Li Jiwan asked. She already knew it would be bad news. It was always bad news these days. "The Vorthak Collective sent another message," Park Min-ho said. He held a small device in his hand. The screen was glowing blue. "They said no again." Li Jiwan closed her eyes. This was the 15th time in 3 months. 15 times they had asked for permission. 15 times the aliens had said no. Her people needed homes. Earth was dying. The air was getting worse every day. The water was running out. But the aliens did not care. "What reason did they give this time?" she asked. Park Min-ho looked at the device. "They said humans are too dangerous. They said we might hurt other species. They said the galaxy is safer without us." Li Jiwan laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "Too dangerous? We have not fought a war in 200 years. We gave up our weapons. We stopped making armies. We have been nothing but kind and peaceful." She walked to her desk and sat down. There were papers everywhere. Reports about human colonies that needed help. Messages from Earth asking for news. Pictures of families who wanted to leave their dying planet. "Captain, there is more," Park Min-ho said. His voice was very quiet now. "Tell me." The ship called, New Seoul. It was carrying 50,000 people, families with children, old people, sick people who needed medical help. Li Jiwan felt something cold in her stomach. "What happened to them?" "The aliens destroyed it," Park Min-ho said. "All of them are dead." The room became very quiet. Li Jiwan could hear the sound of the ship's engines. She could hear her own heart beating. She could hear Park Min-ho breathing. "They said it was necessary," Park Min-ho continued. "They said humans might spread diseases. They said it was better to be safe." Li Jiwan stood up so fast that her chair fell over. "Diseases? What diseases? We have been healthy for centuries. Our medicine is the best in the galaxy." She walked to the wall where there was a big screen. She pressed some buttons. The screen showed pictures of the destroyed ship, pieces of metal floating in space, bodies of people who would never see their new home. "Look at this," she said to Park Min-ho. "Look at these children. Look at these families. They were running away from a dying planet. They just wanted to live." Park Min-ho came to stand next to her. Together they looked at the terrible pictures. There was a little girl's toy floating among the wreckage, a red ball that would never be played with again. "How many times have we said sorry?" Li Jiwan asked. "How many times have we bent down and asked for forgiveness? How many times have we proved that we are peaceful?" She turned away from the screen. Her hands were shaking with anger. "Dr. Kim Sora wants to see you," Park Min-ho said. "She is waiting in the meeting room." Li Jiwan nodded. Dr. Kim Sora was the head of the Human Diplomatic Corps. She was the one who always tried to make peace with the aliens. She was the one who always said humans should be patient and kind. The meeting room was small and white. Dr. Kim Sora was sitting at the table. She looked older than she had a year ago. Her hair was turning gray and there were lines around her eyes. "Jiwan," she said when the captain walked in. "Sit down. We need to talk." Li Jiwan sat across from her. "I heard about the New Seoul." "Everyone heard about it," Dr. Kim Sora said. "The whole galaxy is talking about it. Some aliens are happy. They think we deserved it." "We deserved it?" Li Jiwan could not believe what she was hearing. "For what? For being born human?" Dr. Kim Sora put her hands on the table. "I have been thinking all night. I have been asking myself the same question over and over. What are we doing wrong?" "Nothing," Li Jiwan said. "We are doing nothing wrong. We have been perfect guests in this galaxy. We have followed every rule. We have asked permission for everything. We have never fought back, even when they hurt us. That's exactly the problem, Dr. Kim Sora said. She reached into her bag and pulled out a piece of paper. I wrote something last night. I want you to read it. Li Jiwan took the paper. The words were written by hand in black ink. She read them slowly. To all the species of the galaxy, it began. We, the humans, have tried for 200 years to prove that we are worthy of your friendship. We have given up our weapons. We have accepted your insults. We have let you push us around because we thought it was the right thing to do. Li Jiwan looked up. Sora, what is this? Keep reading, Dr. Kim Sora said. But today you went too far. Today you killed 50,000 innocent people. Children who never hurt anyone. Families who just wanted to live in peace. You called it necessary. You called it safe. We call it murder. Li Jiwan's hands started to shake as she read. We are done being nice. We are done saying sorry for things we never did. We are done asking for permission to exist. From this day forward, humanity withdraws from all peace treaties. We withdraw from all agreements. We will not follow your rules anymore. The paper had more words, but Li Jiwan stopped reading. She looked at Dr. Kim Sora. Are you serious about this? Very serious, Dr. Kim Sora said. I have already sent copies to Earth. The Global Defense Council is meeting right now. They are voting on whether to approve this declaration. Li Jiwan finished reading the paper. The last lines were the most important. You wanted us to be peaceful. We tried to be peaceful. But you have shown us that peace is not enough. You have shown us that kindness is seen as weakness. So we will not be kind anymore. We will not be peaceful anymore. You have made your choice. Now we will make ours. What happens now? Li Jiwan asked. Now we wait, Dr. Kim Sora said. We wait to see what Earth decides. But I think I already know what they will say. As if he heard her words, Park Min-ho's voice came through the ship's communication system. Captain Lee, please come to the bridge. We are receiving a priority message from Earth. Li Jiwan and Dr. Kim Sora walked quickly to the bridge. All the crew members were standing around the main screen. They looked excited and scared at the same time. Put it on the main screen, Li Jiwan said. The screen showed the face of President Lim Jamin. He looked serious and tired. Behind him, Li Jiwan could see the flags of all the human colonies. Citizens of humanity, President Lim Jamin said. Today marks the end of one chapter in our history and the beginning of another. The Global Defense Council has voted unanimously to approve the Enough Declaration. The bridge became very quiet. Everyone was listening carefully. For 200 years we have tried to prove that humans deserve a place in this galaxy. We have been patient. We have been kind. We have been peaceful. But today, our kindness was repaid with murder. President Lim Jamin paused. When he spoke, again his voice was different. It was harder and colder. Effective immediately, humanity withdraws from all galactic treaties. We will no longer ask for permission. We will no longer apologize for existing. The galaxy has shown us what they think of human life. Now they will learn what humans think of theirs. The message ended. The screen went black. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Dr. Kim Sora said quietly, "It's done. We are no longer the peaceful humans they remember." Li Jiwan looked out the window at the stars. They looked different now. They looked like targets. "What do we do now?" Park Min-ho asked. Li Jiwan smiled, but it was not a kind smile. "Now we go home. We have work to do." General Choi Daeho had not worn his military uniform in 20 years. The blue fabric felt strange against his skin. The medals on his chest were old and dusty. He had almost forgotten what they were for. He stood in front of a big mirror in his office. The building around him was waking up for the first time in 2 centuries. People were walking in the hallways. Machines were starting to work. The Earth Defense Command was alive again. "Sir," said a young woman at his door, "the Global Defense Council is ready for you." General Choi turned around. The woman was wearing a new uniform. It was black instead of blue. Everything was different. "Now thank you, Lieutenant," he said. "What is your name?" "Lieutenant Yoon Hana, sir. I used to work in the science department. Now I work for you." General Choi nodded. Many people were changing jobs these days. Scientists were becoming soldiers. Teachers were learning to fight. The whole world was changing. They walked down a long hallway. The walls were covered with old pictures of battles from long ago. Earth's last wars had been fought 300 years ago. Most people had forgotten what war looked like. The meeting room was full of people. General Choi recognized some faces. There was Admiral Song Min-suk, who used to command peaceful exploration ships. There was Professor Kim Tae-hyun, who had spent his life studying alien cultures. There was Commander Shin Yoon-ji, who had trained pilots for rescue missions. "Ladies and gentlemen," General Choi said as he sat down. 3 days ago, we were a peaceful civilization. Today we are at war. Everyone in the room looked serious. They knew this was not a game. "The aliens think they know us," General Choi continued. "They think we are weak because we chose peace. They think we forgot how to fight because we have not fought for so long. They are wrong." He pressed a button on the table. The lights went down. A big screen came down from the ceiling. It showed pictures of strange machines and weapons. For 200 years, our scientists have been creating new technologies. We called them peaceful technologies. We said they were for exploration and discovery. But every peaceful technology can become a weapon if you need it to, Lieutenant. Yoon Hana stood up. She looked nervous but excited. "Sir, may I explain Project Prometheus?" "Go ahead," General Choi said. Yoon Hana walked to the front of the room. She pressed some buttons and the pictures on the screen changed. "Project Prometheus was supposed to be secret," she said. "We have been working on it for 50 years. We told everyone we were trying to make better space travel. We told them we were trying to understand the universe better." The screen showed a picture of a strange device. It looked like a ball made of metal and light. "This is a quantum disruptor," Yoon Hana said. "It can break apart anything at the atomic level. We made it to study how matter works, but it can also destroy entire buildings in seconds." The next picture showed something that looked like a helmet with wires. "This is a neural warfare system. We made it to help people with brain injuries, but it can also take control of someone's mind from far away." More pictures appeared. Weapons that could change gravity, machines that could make people sick with specific diseases, tools that could destroy entire planets. "How many of these weapons do we have?" asked Admiral Song Min-suk. "Enough," Yoon Hana said. "We have been building them slowly and quietly. We stored them in secret places all over the galaxy. The aliens never knew." General Choi stood up again. "The question is not whether we can fight. The question is whether we should fight." "They killed 50,000 innocent people," said Commander Shin Yoon-ji. Her voice was angry. "They have been treating us like animals for centuries. I think we should fight." "Fighting is not the same as winning," said Professor Kim Tae-hyun. "What do we want to achieve?" General Choi looked at everyone in the room. "We want to make sure this never happens again. We want to make sure no human ever has to ask permission to exist." He pressed another button. The screen showed a new picture. It was a ship, but not like any ship anyone had ever seen. It was long and black. It had sharp edges and no windows. It looked like death itself. "This is the UES Retribution," General Choi said. "Captain Nam Kyung-ho is building it right now. It will be the first human warship in 300 years. The room was very quiet. Everyone was looking at the picture. "It does not look like our old ships," said Admiral Song Min-suk. "It is not supposed to," General Choi said. "Our old ships were made for peace. This ship is made for war. It has weapons the galaxy has never seen. It has armor that cannot be broken. It has engines that can travel faster than anything else in space." "How many ships like this can we build?" asked Commander Shin Yoon-ji. "We are building 100. Right now," General Choi said. "We will have 1,000 by the end of the year. We will have 10,000 if we need them." Lieutenant Yoon Hana raised her hand. "Sir, there is something else. Something we have never told anyone about." General Choi nodded. "Tell them about the extinction protocols." The room became even quieter. The name sounded scary. The extinction protocols are our final weapon, Yoon Hana said. "If we use them, we can destroy entire species. We can make them disappear completely from the universe. How? Asked Professor Kim Tae-hyun. We can change their DNA from far away. We can make them unable to have children. We can make them sick with diseases that only affect their species. We can even change their brains so they forget how to think. Everyone in the room looked shocked. Why did we create such terrible weapons? Asked Admiral Song Min-seok. Because we knew this day might come, General Choi said. We hoped it never would. We hoped we could always be peaceful, but we prepared for the worst. Commander Shin Yoonji stood up. What are our orders, General? General Choi walked to the window. Outside, he could see spaceships being built. Workers were putting weapons on peaceful exploration vessels. The whole planet was getting ready for war. Our orders are simple, he said. We are going to send a message to every alien species in the galaxy. We are going to tell them exactly what we think of their treatment of humanity. What kind of message? Asked Professor Kim Tae-hyun. General Choi smiled, but it was not a nice smile. Captain Nam Kyung-ho is going to take the retribution to the Vorthak Collective's homeworld. He is going to destroy their entire military fleet. He is going to do it in front of everyone so the whole galaxy can watch. Will we give them a chance to surrender? Asked Admiral Song Min-seok. No, General Choi said. They did not give the people on the New Seoul a chance to surrender. They did not give our children a chance to live. Why should we give them a chance? Lieutenant Yoon Hana looked worried. Sir, what if other species try to help the Vorthak? Then we will destroy them too, General Choi said. We will keep destroying them until they understand that humans are not victims anymore. He turned away from the window and looked at everyone in the room. For 200 years, we have been the galaxy's favorite pet. We have been cute and harmless. We have entertained them with our art and music. We have helped them with our science and medicine. We have been grateful for every small kindness they gave us. His voice became louder and angrier. But pets sometimes bite. And when they bite, they can be very dangerous. The galaxy is about to learn that humans are not pets. We are predators. We have always been predators. We just chose to be nice for a while. The meeting continued for 6 hours. They made plans for the war. They decided which species to attack first. They chose which weapons to use. They prepared for a fight that would change the galaxy forever. When the meeting was over, General Choi walked back to his office. Lieutenant Yoon Hana walked with him. Sir, she said, are you sure we are doing the right thing? General Choi stopped walking. He looked at her with tired eyes. I have been asking myself that question for 3 days, he said. But then I remember those children floating in space. I remember 50,000 people who just wanted to find a new home. I remember centuries of insults and humiliation. He started walking again. The right thing was peace. We tried the right thing for 200 years. The galaxy did not want the right thing, so now they will get the wrong thing, and they will not like it. That night, every human ship in the galaxy received the same message. It was short and simple. You wanted monsters. You have created them. The message was broadcast on every frequency. Every alien species in the galaxy heard it. They did not understand what it meant. They would understand soon. Admiral Song Min-seok stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution. The ship was everything General Choi had promised. It was fast, silent, and deadly. Around him, 50 other human warships moved through space like hunting wolves. Admiral, said Commander Shin Yoonji. She was standing at the weapons control station. We are approaching the Telvarian border worlds. They do not know we are coming. Admiral Song looked at the main screen. It showed 3 planets orbiting a yellow star. These worlds had been home to Telvarian families for thousands of years. Soon, they would be empty. How many Telvarians live on these planets, he asked. 2 billion on the first planet, 500 million on the second, 1 billion on the third, Commander Shin replied. Admiral Song nodded. The numbers did not matter to him anymore. Numbers were just numbers. What mattered was the message humanity would send today. Open a communication channel to all ships, he said. The screen changed. Now it showed the faces of 50 human captains. They all looked ready for battle. They all looked angry. Today, we begin the real war, Admiral Song said. The aliens think they know what human war looks like. They have read about our old battles. They think we fight for land or resources or glory. He paused and looked at each face on the screen. They are wrong. We do not fight for things we want. We fight to destroy things we hate. We do not take prisoners. We do not accept surrender. We do not leave survivors. Captain Nam Kyung-ho, commanding. The destroyer Vengeance raised his hand. Admiral, what if they try to negotiate? Then we keep shooting while they talk, Admiral Song said. The time for negotiation ended when they killed our children. The communication channel closed. Admiral Song looked at Commander Shin Yoonji. Begin the attack, he said. The human fleet moved toward the Telvarian worlds. The aliens had defense ships, but they were old and slow. The Telvarians had not fought a real war in centuries. They had forgotten how dangerous the universe could be. The first Telvarian ship to see the humans sent a message. Unknown vessels, this is Telvarian space. You must leave immediately or we will defend ourselves. Commander Shin Yoonji looked at Admiral Song. Should we respond? Yes, Admiral Song said. Tell them we are humans. Tell them we are here to collect a debt. The message was sent. For a moment there was silence. Then the Telvarian ship sent another message. Humans? But humans are peaceful. You must be mistaken. Humans do not have warships. Admiral Song smiled coldly. Show them how mistaken they are. The UES Retribution fired its main weapon. A beam of pure energy crossed the space between the ships in less than a second. The Telvarian ship simply disappeared. It did not explode. It did not break apart. It just stopped existing. What weapon was that? Asked Commander Shin. Even though she knew the answer. Quantum disruptor, Admiral Song said. It breaks apart atoms, very clean, very final. More Telvarian ships appeared. They came from all three planets. Their commanders were shouting orders at each other. They were confused and scared. Human vessels, came a new voice. It sounded older and calmer. This is Admiral Veltar of the Telvarian Defense Force. We do not understand why you are here. Humans and Telvarians have been at peace for centuries. Admiral Song pressed a button to respond. Admiral Veltar, my name is Admiral Song Minseok of the Human Fleet. We are here because your species voted to support the quarantine of human refugees. We are here because you agreed that human children should die in space. That was a political decision, Admiral Veltar said. I am a soldier, not a politician. My people had nothing to do with the death of human civilians. Your people voted for leaders who made that decision, Admiral Song said. That makes them responsible. That makes you responsible. The human fleet spread out around the three planets. Each ship chose a target. They did not aim for military bases or government buildings. They aimed for cities. They aimed for schools. They aimed for hospitals. Wait, Admiral Veltar said. His voice was getting desperate. We can discuss this. We can find a peaceful solution. We can compensate you for your losses. Compensate? Admiral Song laughed. How do you compensate for murdered children? How do you bring back 50,000 dead humans? We can offer tribute, Admiral Veltar said. Resources, technology, whatever you want. Admiral Song's face became very serious. What we want is for you to understand that actions have consequences. What we want is for the galaxy to learn that humans are not victims anymore. He made a gesture to Commander Shin Yoonji. She pressed several buttons on her control panel. All ships, she announced. Begin planetary bombardment. The human ships opened fire all at once. Beams of energy fell from the sky like rain. Cities that had stood for thousands of years began to burn. Mountains were turned to dust. Oceans began to boil. The Telvarian defense ships tried to fight back. Their weapons hit the human ships but did no damage. Human technology was too advanced. Human armor was too strong. This is impossible, Admiral Veltar said over the communication channel. Your shields should not be able to withstand our weapons. We have had 200 years to prepare, Admiral Song said. While you were enjoying peace, we were getting ready for war. One by one, the Telvarian ships were destroyed. Some tried to run away. The human ships caught them easily. Some tried to hide behind the planets. The human ships found them anyway. Major Kang Hyun-woo was leading the ground assault on the first planet. His soldiers were not like the old human armies. They had been changed by advanced medicine. They were stronger, faster, and smarter than normal humans. Major, said Sergeant Bae Young-ho over the radio, the Telvarian ground forces are trying to surrender. What are your orders? Asked Corporal Lee Jin-young. Major Kang looked at the Telvarian soldiers. They were throwing down their weapons. They were putting their hands in the air. They looked scared and confused. No prisoners, Major Kang said. Kill them all. His soldiers obeyed without question. The Telvarian soldiers died quickly. The human weapons were very efficient. Major Kang and his team moved through the Telvarian cities. They did not try to capture buildings or control territory. They just killed everyone they found. Men, women, children, old people, young people, it did not matter. Major, said Sergeant Bae, some of the Telvarians are hiding in underground shelters. They have families with them. Burn them out, Major Kang said. Use the fire weapons. The human soldiers carried weapons that could create fires hot enough to melt metal. The underground shelters became ovens. Nobody inside survived. In space, Admiral Veltar's ship was the last one left. All his other ships were gone. His planets were burning. His people were dying. Human fleet, he said. His voice was broken and sad. We surrender. Please stop this. We surrender completely. Admiral Song looked at the burning planets on his screen. The job was almost finished. Admiral Veltar, he said, do you know what humans said when your government voted to quarantine our refugees? No, Admiral Veltar said. We said please. We said please do not do this. We said please think about the children. We said please remember that we are living beings too. Admiral Song's voice became harder. Do you know what your government said? No. They said the galaxy is safer without humans. They said human life is not as important as alien comfort. They said our children deserved to die. The last Telvarian ship was now surrounded by human vessels. Admiral Veltar had nowhere to run. Please, Admiral Veltar said. I am sorry. We are all sorry. We made a mistake. Yes, Admiral Song said. You made a mistake. You thought humans would always be victims. You thought we would always ask for permission. You thought we would always say please. He made another gesture to Commander Shin Yoonji. But we are done asking for permission. We are done saying please. Now we are making demands. And our first demand is that the Telvarian species stops existing. The human ships fired their weapons, one last time. Admiral Veltar's ship disappeared just like all the others. Admiral Song looked at the 3 planets. They were still burning. Nothing was left alive on any of them. 3 worlds that had been full of life and culture were now empty rocks floating in space. Mission complete, Commander Shin Yoonji said. All Telvarian forces destroyed. All population centers eliminated. No survivors detected. Admiral Song nodded. Send a message to Earth. Tell them the Telvarian problem has been solved. He turned to address his fleet again. The faces of 50 captains appeared on the screen. Excellent work, everyone, he said. But this is just the beginning. We have a list of 100 alien species that supported the quarantine of human refugees. We are going to visit each one of them. Captain Nam Kyung-ho raised his hand. Admiral, some of these species have much larger fleets than the Telvarians. Some of them have better weapons. Admiral Song smiled. Then it will be more interesting, but the result will be the same. Every species that voted to kill human children will learn what happens when you make humans angry. The human fleet began to move toward the next target. Behind them, the Telvarian system burned in silence. 3 billion aliens had learned too late that humans were not the peaceful creatures they remembered. In other parts of the galaxy, alien governments were receiving reports about what happened to the Telvarians. Some were scared, some were angry, some were preparing for war. None of them understood that war had already begun, and none of them understood that they had already lost. Director Bai Ji-young sat in a room full of screens. Each screen showed a different alien world. She could see their cities, their people, their daily lives. But most importantly, She could see their fear. "Director," said her assistant, Dr. O. Seojin. "The psychological warfare broadcasts are working. We are receiving surrender requests from 12 different species." Director Bay looked at the messages on her desk. Alien leaders were begging for mercy. They were offering to give humans anything they wanted. They were promising to be better. "Too late," Director Bay said. "They had 200 years to be better. They chose to be cruel instead." She pressed a button on her control panel. A new broadcast began playing on every communication frequency in the galaxy. Aliens all over the universe would see it on their screens. The broadcast showed footage from the destroyed human colonies, children running from burning buildings, families crying as their ships were turned away from safe ports, the bodies of the people from the New Sol floating in cold space. "People of the galaxy," Director Bay's voice said over the images. "For centuries you have told us that humans are violent. You have said we are dangerous. You have said the galaxy is safer without us." The images changed. Now they showed the burning Telvarian worlds, empty cities, dead forests, silent oceans. "You were right. Humans are dangerous. We are very dangerous. But we were only dangerous to ourselves. We fought our wars on our own world. We killed our own people. We left the rest of the galaxy alone." More images appeared. Human diplomats bowing to alien leaders. Human ships being searched by alien security. Human children being told they could not play with alien children because they might be infected with human violence. "But you could not leave us alone. You could not let us live in peace. You had to remind us constantly that we were not welcome. You had to show us that human life was worth less than alien comfort." Director Bay stood up and walked to the window. Outside she could see the construction yards where new human warships were being built. Hundreds of them. Soon there would be thousands. "Dr. O," she said, "how is the Mercy Plague project progressing?" Dr. O. Seojin looked at her computer screen. "The biological weapon is ready for testing. It will make any alien species experience the death of every human their people have killed." "Explain how it works," Director Bay said. "When an alien is infected, their brain will create false memories. They will experience dying in space without air. They will experience burning to death in destroyed colonies. They will experience being shot by security forces for the crime of being human." Dr. O paused and looked sad. "They will experience all of it. Every death. Every moment of pain. Every second of terror that humans have felt because of alien cruelty." Director Bay nodded. "It is not just a weapon, it is justice." She turned back to her screens. On one screen she could see the alien capital world called Nexus Prime. It was a beautiful planet with tall silver buildings and floating gardens. Billions of aliens from hundreds of species lived there in peace and prosperity. "Fleet Admiral Huang Taehyun is approaching Nexus Prime," Dr. O said. "He has 200 ships with him." Director Bay smiled. "The aliens chose that planet as their capital because it was the most peaceful place in the galaxy. No wars had ever been fought there. No violence had ever happened there." "And now?" Dr. O asked. "Now it will be the place where the old galaxy dies and the new galaxy is born." On another screen, Director Bay could see alien news broadcasts. Reporters were trying to understand what was happening. They showed maps of destroyed worlds. They interviewed experts who explained that humans had been peaceful for centuries. "They do not understand," Director Bay said. "They think this is about revenge. They think we are angry about recent events." "Is it not about revenge?" Dr. O asked. Director Bay shook her head. "Revenge is personal. This is bigger than that. This is about making sure that no species ever again thinks they can treat humans like animals." She pressed another button. A new message went out to every alien government in the galaxy. "To the leaders of all alien species," the message began. "You are wondering why this is happening. You are wondering what you did wrong. You are wondering if there is a way to make peace with humanity." Director Bay's voice was calm and clear, like a teacher explaining a simple lesson. "The answer is that you did everything wrong. For 200 years you treated humans as second-class beings. You made us ask permission for everything. You searched our ships for weapons we did not have. You separated us from your children. as if we carried diseases we did not carry. The message continued playing while Director Bay worked on other projects. You told us we were violent, but you never let us prove we were peaceful. You told us we were dangerous, but you never gave us a chance to be safe. You told us we were unwelcome, but you never explained what we could do to earn acceptance. Dr. O was working on her computer. Director, I am receiving reports from our agents on alien worlds. Many species are starting to blame each other for the human war. Good, Director Bay said. Fear makes people do stupid things. When they are afraid, they stop working together. When they stop working together, they become easier to defeat. On her screens, she could see alien leaders arguing with each other. Some species were saying they had never supported the human quarantine. Others were saying they had always liked humans. Many were pointing fingers and making accusations. The Zelthari Republic is claiming they voted against the refugee restrictions, Dr. O said. Director Bay laughed. The Zelthari were the ones who suggested the restrictions in the first place. They said humans breed too fast and would overpopulate the galaxy. Should we correct their lie? No. Let them lie. Let them all lie. It will not save them. Fleet. Admiral Huang Taihyun's voice came through the communication system. Director Bay, this is Admiral Huang. We have arrived at Nexus Prime. The alien fleets are waiting for us. Director Bay pressed the response button. Admiral, how many ships are they sending against you? 5,000 ships from 30 different species, Admiral Huang said. They have formed what they call the Galactic Defense Alliance. Are you concerned? Admiral Huang laughed. Director, I have 200 ships, but each of my ships is worth 50 of theirs. I am not concerned. Director Bay looked at the screen showing Nexus Prime. She could see the huge alien fleet forming a defensive line around the planet. They looked impressive and dangerous. Admiral, she said, remember that this battle is not just about winning. It is about sending a message. Make sure the whole galaxy can see what happens to enemies of humanity. Understood, Director. We will make it memorable. The communication ended. Director Bay turned to Dr. O. Begin the final phase of the psychological warfare campaign. I want every alien in the galaxy to see footage of what humans experienced during the refugee crisis. Dr. O nodded and began working. Soon, every screen in the galaxy would show the same images. Human families being turned away from safe worlds. Human children dying from diseases that could have been cured in alien hospitals. Human elderly people suffering in overcrowded refugee ships while alien worlds remained empty and safe. Director, Dr. O said after a few minutes, some of the alien leaders are requesting direct communication with Earth. They want to negotiate. What are they offering? Everything. Complete surrender, unlimited resources, total submission to human authority. Director Bay thought about this for a moment. What did Earth say? President Lim Jamin said that the time for negotiation ended when the new soul was destroyed. He said humans are not interested in ruling over aliens. We are interested in making sure aliens never have the power to hurt humans again. Director Bay nodded. That was exactly the right answer. Dr. O, how long until the Mercy Plague is ready? For mass deployment? 3 days, Dr. O said. But Director, are you sure we should use it? It will cause tremendous suffering. Director Bay looked at her screens again. On one screen, she could see a human memorial on Earth. It showed the names of every human who had died because of alien cruelty. The list was very long. Dr. O, do you know how many humans died because aliens would not let them find new homes? Approximately 2 million over the past 50 years. Do you know how many humans were killed by alien security forces for the crime of being in the wrong place at the wrong time? Approximately 500,000. Do you know how many human children grew up thinking they were inferior to aliens because that is what the galaxy taught them? Dr. O was quiet for a moment. All of them. Director Bay turned away from the screens. The Mercy Plague will help aliens understand what they put us through. It will help them learn empathy. Consider it an education program. At that moment, Admiral Huang's voice came through the communication system again. Director Bay, the battle for Nexus Prime has begun. Director Bay looked at the screen showing the space around the alien capital. Human ships were moving like sharks through the alien fleet. Alien vessels were exploding one after another. "How long do you estimate the battle will last?" she asked. "At this rate, about 20 minutes, Admiral Huang said. "The aliens are fighting bravely, but they are fighting with weapons that are centuries out of date." Director Bay watched as human ships cut through the alien defenses. Each human vessel destroyed dozens of alien ships before moving on to the next target. President Lim Jamin stood on the balcony of what used to be the Galactic Council building. The city below him had a new name now. It was called New Terra, and it was the capital of human space. 1 year had passed since the war began. 1 year since humans had decided to stop being kind. The galaxy was very different now. "Mr. President," said his aide, Secretary Park Jin-ho, "the representatives from the surviving alien species are here for the annual review." President Lim nodded. Every year the aliens had to come and report on their populations. They had to prove they were following human rules. They had to ask for permission to do things that they once did freely. "How many species are left?" President Lim asked. 47, Secretary Park said. "Down from 234 before the war." President Lim was not surprised. The war had been very efficient. Some species had been completely destroyed. Others had destroyed themselves fighting over resources. A few had simply given up and stopped having children. "Which species has the largest population now?" "The Kythera. They have about 50 million people left. They were smart enough to surrender early, so we let more of them live." President Lim walked back inside the building. The hallways were decorated with art from destroyed alien worlds. Beautiful paintings and sculptures that were all that remained of civilizations that had lasted thousands of years. "Sir," Secretary Park said, "Supreme Commander An Yejin is waiting in the war room. She has the monthly reports from all human territories." The war room was a large space with a table in the center. Around the table sat the most powerful humans in the galaxy. These people had planned and executed the greatest military campaign in known history. Supreme Commander An Yejin stood up when President Lim entered. She was a small woman, but everyone in the room was afraid of her. She had been the one to design the final assault on Nexus Prime. She had been the one to decide which alien species would be allowed to survive. "Mr. President," she said, "the galaxy is stable. All alien populations are within acceptable limits. No species has more than 100 million individuals. No species has access to advanced technology. No species has the ability to travel between star systems without human permission." President Lim sat down at the head of the table. "Any problems to report?" "Minor issues only," Supreme Commander An said. "Some young aliens are asking questions about the time before human rule. Some are wondering why their grandparents talk about a time when aliens controlled the galaxy. How are we handling these questions?" "Education," Supreme Commander An said with a small smile. "We show them footage of the refugee ships. We show them what their ancestors did to human children. We remind them why the current system exists." President Lim looked around the table. He saw faces he recognized from the early days of the war. General Choi Dae-ho, who had awakened humanity's military power. Admiral Song Min-seok, who had destroyed the first alien worlds. Director Bae Ji-young, who had broken the aliens' will to resist. "Any word from the exploration fleets?" President Lim asked. "Captain Lee Ji-won reports that the UES New Dawn has found 3 more habitable worlds in the Outer Rim," said Admiral Song. "No alien life detected. They are perfect for human colonies." President Lim nodded. Captain Lee had been one of the first to see that war was necessary. Now she was helping humanity expand into empty space, finding new worlds where human children could grow up safe and free. What about the research projects? Dr. Kim Sora, who had once tried to make peace with aliens, now ran the Department of Alien Studies. "We have completed our analysis of alien psychology. We understand now why they could never accept humans as equals." "Explain," President Lim said. "Aliens think differently than humans," Dr. Kim said. "They see the universe as having a natural order. Strong species rule over weak species. Old species rule over young species. They saw humans as young and weak, so they thought it was natural for us to serve them. And now they see humans as the strongest species, so they accept human rule as natural. They do not fight against it because they believe it is the way things should be. President Lim found this information interesting but not surprising. Humans had spent centuries trying to understand alien thinking. Now they could use that understanding to control alien behavior. Dr. Kim, what about the younger generation of aliens, the ones born after the war? They are different, Dr. Kim said. They have grown up in a human-controlled galaxy. They see human authority as normal. Many of them are actually grateful for human protection. Grateful? They know that without human oversight, different alien species would fight each other. They remember the chaos that happened during the early days of the war, when alien alliances fell apart. They prefer peace under human rule to war under alien rule. Supreme Commander An stood up and walked to a large map on the wall. It showed the entire galaxy, with different colors marking human and alien territories. Mr. President, we control 70% of the galaxy directly. The remaining 30% is divided among surviving alien species, but they cannot do anything without our permission. President Lim studied the map. Most of it was colored blue for human territory. The alien areas were small islands of red and yellow scattered around the edges. Are we finished expanding? He asked. Not yet, Supreme Commander An said. We are still finding new worlds that would be good for human colonies. But we are not taking any worlds away from surviving aliens. We made a promise that species who surrendered early would be allowed to keep their homeworlds. A promise we will keep, President Lim said. Humans do not break their promises. That is what makes us different from aliens. Secretary Park raised his hand. Sir, we are receiving a message from the Cathara Republic. They are requesting permission to increase their population limit from 50 million to 60 million. The room became quiet. Population limits were very serious business. If alien species grew too large, they might start thinking they could challenge human authority. What reason do they give? President Lim asked. They say their current population is too small to maintain their infrastructure. They say they need more workers to keep their cities running. President Lim thought about this request. The Cathara had been good servants since the war ended. They followed human rules. They paid their taxes. They did not cause problems. Approved, he said. But they will be monitored closely. If their population reaches 60 million and they start showing signs of independence, we will reduce them back to 50 million. Supreme Commander An made a note on her tablet. I will inform the Cathara governor. President Lim stood up and walked to the window. Outside he could see human families walking in the parks, human children playing games, human teenagers learning about art and science and literature. Historian Ko Sang-hoon has finished his report on the war, Secretary Park said. Would you like to see it? Read me the summary, President Lim said. Secretary Park opened a file on his computer. Historian Ko writes that the war was not really about revenge or territory or resources. It was about teaching the galaxy a lesson that it should have learned long ago. What lesson? That kindness is a choice, not a weakness. For 200 years, humans chose to be kind to aliens who did not deserve kindness. When aliens rejected that kindness, humans chose to be something else. President Lim smiled. That was exactly right. What else does the historian say? He says that aliens made one critical mistake. They thought that because humans had stopped fighting each other, humans had forgotten how to fight. They did not understand that humans had become more dangerous, not less dangerous. Secretary Park continued reading. Historian Ko writes that the old human wars were fought with anger and hate. Soldiers killed because they were emotional, but the war against the aliens was fought with cold logic. Humans killed because it was necessary. President Lim turned away from the window. That is the difference between old humanity and new humanity. We do not fight because we are angry. We fight because we have decided that fighting is the most efficient solution to a problem. At that moment, Captain Lee Ji-won's voice came through the communication system. Mr. President, this is Captain Lee reporting from the Outer Rim. We have discovered something interesting. What is it, Captain? We found the ruins of an ancient civilization. They were destroyed about 10,000 years ago. According to the records we found, they were destroyed by the same alien species that tried to quarantine human refugees. President Lim was not surprised. What happened to the species that destroyed them? They do not exist anymore, Captain Lee said. We destroyed them during the 3rd month of the war. President Lim nodded. Justice had a way of finding people, even across thousands of years. Captain, establish a memorial at that site. Let it remind future generations that cruelty always has consequences, even if those consequences take a long time to arrive. Yes, sir. The communication ended. President Lim looked around the room at his advisors and commanders. Ladies and gentlemen, we have built something that has never existed before. A galaxy where humans are safe. A galaxy where human children can grow up without fear. A galaxy where no one will ever again tell humans that they are not welcome. He walked back to his chair and sat down. The aliens thought they were teaching us humility. They thought they were keeping us in our proper place.